We don't even need an intro for this.
Why not?
We don't even need an intro.
Why
There's not
don't
an introduction that is sufficient enough for all the amazing items we are going to talk about today. That's why. There's no introduction that could ever be as good as the flavors and choices of baits that we're going to talk about today. Because we've got some tricks up our sleeve. Is that okay with you, flat bill guy? Is that okay with you?
Okay, so what's gonna happen is I'll go on and talk about the stuff I know things about later.
Yep.
But
And
until then, these two are gonna talk about all the weird stuff.
Is that the name of the podcast today?
Weird
stuff?
Yep.
Weird stuff with
Weird
Willie,
stuff.
Ross, and Eric.
Weird stuff with Willie, special guest, Ross, and Eric. Rick, Gaff, or Flatbill Guy, as some people like to call him. So yeah, good theme today.
You guys got it covered for a second? I'm gonna go
yeah.
check on an order.
Weird stuff.
Yep.
Things we haven't seen before until just yesterday. Items that we've used, tested, and kept secret. New arrivals, new colors, key restocks, stuff that you probably don't know about yet. So, plethora of items as always. Let's just go ahead and dig in, because this is going to be a lot. And I already lost my koi key. Here's a koi key.
Oh.
That'll complete the set. So, I would say let's start with some new items, wouldn't you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Highlighted new item that everybody's been asking about. We gotta get it out of the way. We already shot some B-roll of this product in the tank, rigged it up on a Ryugi Talisman Brutal Heavy Guard 4-aught. I gotta know what made you want to get the YG Labo Deka Mushiba. I think that's what it is.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Deka Mushiba, yep. Translation, I think what it means is giant tooth cavity, giant molar.
Decaying tooth, something along that line.
It's a big dice bait, and we'll get into some of the other large-sized dice baits we have. This one is certainly
Different.
different, new, cool, and unseen. We've already thrown in the tank, but it comes with an owner Cultiva little screw lock in there that you can use to go ahead and pierce through there, and you're not gonna lose your bait. And that's kind of a cool little feature. They've already included that in the pack. What sets this thing apart to some of the other dice baits after you saw it in the tank?
Well,
Other than the shape.
yeah, I mean, the shape is definitely irregular.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of like a 26 or like a 22.
26 field side. Yep.
Yep. Just with the density, how heavy it is.
That's a 20. So this thing weighs almost half an ounce.
Yep, it's coming in at 10 grams. About a little bit lighter than that 26 millimeter.
This one's an inch by an inch. This one's about an inch by an inch. A little more V-shaped. A little less heavy. The thing I noticed, we dropped the 26 millimeter in the tank a while ago and put that on a decoy worm 317 and drag it on the bottom. This one seems to be a lot more floaty.
Yeah.
I was pretty pleased with that. I think this one's going to be a bed fishing, like the bed fishing supreme.
Yep.
I think this is going to be a real nice offering in springtime when you want to cast around docks, cast shallow, throw this thing on a bed. It's got a real enticing fall to it, and of course it's got the. You say this is a Rains skirt, right?
Yeah, it's the Rains Hyper F skirt. And then it's YG Labo.
Yep.
Deka
Mushiba.
Deka Mushiba.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gotta try it out, but I mean it's cool looking bait, different definitely.
The fall rate and the floatiness of that bait, I think, is what sets it apart compared to this is a real heavy, real salted, more of a quick fall, kind of a bottom contact. That's real floaty. We've got that in 4 colors right now. Anything from that's like a smoke color. We've got bubblegum for all your bed fishing needs. We've got kind of what I'd like to call, it's kind of like a falcon craw, red and gold and black. A few different colors, but
hot pink.
We've already had some guys hop on the hot pink. So if you want a hot pink for bed fishing, we got them. Got a few different nice little colors in that guy. So just wanted to touch on dice baits, I guess, to start. So that's one of them. Obviously, you've already seen the 26 millimeter. We also received a shipment of the little brother, the 22 millimeter, which comes, it's just slightly smaller, more of like a 3/4 inch compared to the 26. This is a really nice offering for, you can throw it on a spinning rod, same thing, kind of a springtime deal. You can definitely drop shot this with a larger wacky Nico hook, a little more manageable size than the big one. I do think there's going to be a lot of applications for the 26. This is more of a, I guess what guys would call manageable, more of a normal size dice. And of course we've got restock of the 14 and 16 millimeter, which is going to be typically Nico, wacky, drop shot, weightless. That's your typical dice, the original dice on the market from Fieldside. So we've got key restocks from Fieldside all the way from 14 to 26 millimeter. We've also got some 8, 10, those smaller sizes on the way. But we've got just a ton of colors in offerings from Fieldside. Tanaga, Ebby Dappy is a popular seller. Sawagani is kind of a scuppernong with the Tanaga skirt. We've got your scuppernong. We've even got straight black, which I think is going to be a player. So check out the dice offerings from both Fieldside. Of course, we've got the OSP dice in stock, and we've got the new arrival of the YG Labo Dika Mushiba. And these are mine.
Yep, you can.
I'm going to go ahead and take these to Florida with me next week and give them a test for some ocean fish.
What other weird stuff do we got?
Not really weird, but you got us to bring in a new product.
Actually, once we're on the dice, let's
Yeah.
talk about these. So these are different.
Not a typical dice bait.
These are from Hide Up. So we've got the
Call it the snowman.
snowman looking one, and then we've got the snowball looking one.
So that's the Koike, I think they call that the Ultimate 17 millimeter, and that is the Ultimate Mushi. Got a few colors of this. We've got a clear, we've got a smoke, and we've got a pink in that. And again, hot pink has been the seller for the guys that want to do some bed fishing, some smallmouth fishing. Really distinct offerings for dice.
Yeah, and one thing about these Hide Up dice is it's not the usual silicone that's threaded through it. It's actual hair, some type of synthetic hair.
Yeah.
So you'll get a little bit different action that they haven't seen.
A lot more finessey, a lot more subtle.
Yep.
I mean, that's like if you want to replicate a bug, that's got the little fine hairs if you want to replicate like the legs on a bug. I mean, that is about as subtle and finessey as you can get. They're hand threaded through there. Yeah, we still got a few colors of these left. I've thrown these on beds up on Mille Lacs or smallmouth. I was telling somebody the other day, and they haven't seen that one before. Yeah, Hide Up.
Cool little sneaky bait.
Cool little. You brought in a couple new arrivals as well. At your request, I wanted you to touch on the Shaggy from Jackal, Japan.
So we just got these in, the Shaggy. We got them in 1/8 ounce right now. We got 3 different colors. We're gonna get, I think in next week or the week after, we got a bunch of pretty much all the colors that they have. This is a little finesse jig. A couple things that I like about this one is the the head, it's almost like a Ned rig head.
Yeah.
It's got that flat head.
Looks like it would stand up real nice.
Stands up, stays out of the rocks. It's got a very small hook on it, but it's not just a wimpy hook. It's
good hook.
Good hook. Skirt on it flares out.
Got a little tickle tail skirt on the end of it too that comes out.
Yep. Some of the skirt, it's kind of varied. You can use up to like probably 3-inch little trailers on this. Really, whatever you want.
Like a duo, the duo wriggle crawler, or the wriggle Ned. 3-inch. That'd be a good on the back of here.
Yeah.
Regular Z-Man would probably be fine on here.
You could throw it, spinning, casting.
Throw it as is.
BFS.
We had some BFS guys come in and they were all over this.
Okay.
Had some customers that are big into the BFS and they were like, I need that for my BFS applications. I think that's great for that. I think you could just throw it no trailer as well. If you want to get real finessey, I think that'd be a good option. I know Dale was talking about throwing that in the river for some smallmouth. I could definitely see that. That's going to be just a really good overall, very finesse jig application that I don't think guys are going to want to miss out on, and we're one of the only places that have them right now. So, Jackal Shaggy jig, if you want to get into some light spinning applications, some dragging over rocks, smallmouth on the river, certainly a great BFS little jig. So check out Jackal Shaggy. More coming, more on the way, and they're available now. Can I talk about your super secret bait that I promised I wouldn't promote?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to do it anyway, whether you said I could or not.
Yeah, that's fine.
From TMCO. This is the Wild Mouse Mini. We've seen mouse baits on the market before. They're all over the place, but this one caught our eye because it's a little bit of an elastomer formula.
Yep.
And the size, this entire bait is 3 inches long head to tail. The actual body is probably an inch and a quarter. We got them in black and we got them in white. We put this in the test tank, did some footage with it yesterday, and we rigged it on we found out, surprisingly enough, the best hook to rig this with was actually the Nishine DS hook in a number 2, right?
Yeah,
and we did that so that when you rig it with no weight, just with a hook so it can sit on the surface, that DS hook keeps it upright, right? Like it won't turn over, it won't be on its side. I think it's the way that the line tie sits up.
Yeah, so that the line tie is coming straight vertically out of the bait.
For a little bait, when we looked at it in the tank as a topwater, it has an incredible side-to-side roll. It bobbles and rolls like this, and that's kind of unheard of to get that amount of movement in such a tiny little bait. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It actually moves a lot more water than you'd think, and you can get it to do, like, just by twitching it, just little twitches, you can get it to bobble back and forth, roll back and forth, and it moves a ton of water. And because of that elastomer formula, the tail has really lifelike, wide, sweeping action.
Wiggle.
I did not think this thing was going to do what it does at all, by no means. We probably would throw it on like a 8-foot hair jig rod.
Yep.
Something
yeah,
like
it is.
that.
It's definitely a lighter bait,
Yeah.
but that kind of Elastec formula makes it a little bit
It's like
heavier.
2.5 grams, so it doesn't weigh hardly much.
3/32.
If you're a BFSer, and if you're not, you should be, but if you like throwing BFS, this is going to be a great BFS topwater. You're going to be able to sling this thing if you got the right rod and reel setup. Probably like some Barabas bait finesse braid. Good little bait to check out.
Yeah.
I was very surprised with the results when we tested this thing out. I think this is going to be a really cool bait just to go out and have some fun with. And we found out the right setup for it. So TMCO Wild Mouse Mini available now. Check those out. We might be able to get some tank footage incorporated in that too, maybe at the overlay. So yes,
What do we got here?
That, I think, may have set the record for fastest online seller maybe ever. As far as how long it took for these to sell out when we got them, and when we got them again, and when we just got them again today. This is the Issei AK Punch 2.8. They also make it in a 2.4. That was the original we had. Now we've upgraded a little bit in size to the 2.8. It is a slight larger size. It's still takes a 1/0 EWG hook.
Yep.
I've tried Owner. I've tried some Ichikawa. Any one, they all vary a little bit, but any 1/0 EWG seems to work pretty good on these. What does it do?
Well, it's made to be a backsliding bait.
Yeah.
So this,
The bulbous tail.
the bulbous part of it is that heavy. I mean, the whole bait is that heavy, pretty dense
Yep.
material. It's made to cast it out there. It's gonna backslide. It's really gonna the bulbous part of it really moves a lot, and it makes the bait kind of be pretty erratic.
Yeah. I mean, when you jig that and stroke it, it floats up, and when it falls, it backslides like right into their mouth.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then when we tested in the tank, every time when you rip it, it'll go any direction it wants. It'll fly backwards, really heavy back end. Both the 2.8 and the 2.4 have the same action, and you told me a sneaky little trick about that bulbous tail that I didn't know about.
Yeah, so I mean you can rig it just weightless. That's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
Also, you can throw a nail in the side of it, and then you really get that backsliding action because
Yep.
now you added a 30-second or however much weight that you put in there, and that makes it do even weirder stuff. So
I've seen guys putting these on a little, like a number 1 Worm 217 from Decoy. That's a 3.5 gram. That would set up nicely with this if you want to drag it on the bottom, but you also want to achieve that same bulbous action. When you swim this or drag it on the bottom with that kind of a rig, or if you want to just weightless swim it, the tail is doing this the entire time. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, vibrating. So more than just when you want to give it movement and action by jigging it, if you just want to swim it, if you want to drag it on a rig, there's kind of no limit to what this bait can do.
no.
And I'm not kidding when we say this is possibly the hottest selling bait in Japan right now.
Yep. Yeah, for
and
sure.
certainly over here, there's guys have already caught on to this in a short period that we've had them. I think we've had them for maybe 2 weeks now, and we've sold out 3 times.
Yep.
And they're in a big restock now. There's a bunch of really awesome colors. I am partial to these kind of earthworm / scuppernong colors. I think those are quite nice, but there's also some there's what you call kind of a green pumpkin magic. That's what they call marsh shrimp. There's some dark green pumpkin. There's some pumpkin blue. There's traditional green pumpkin. There's Abby Dappy. There's all kinds of great colors, and we've got them all. I think we have every color that they offer right now.
Yep.
So check out the AK Punch 2.8. You can also scroll back on our social media, on our Instagram, where we put this in the tank. And if you can go ahead and find that video, you're going to be amazed at this bait. It looks funny and it looks laughable, but this bait is going to produce. This is made for pressured fish.
Yeah.
I mean, this is made for like pressured fish in the canal, and it's certainly going to play out here on Lake Minnetonka, where every fish has been caught 5 times. So AK Punch 2.8, we're going to have a restock of the 2.4 as well, but highly recommend this slightly heavier 2.8 version. I think it's going to trigger a lot of big bites all year round. Certainly right now in the springtime, but all year round, I think this is going to be a player. And this is not going to, it is a gravity bait. However, it's not going to replace the scat, the heavy poop, any kind of those baits. This is not a replacement. This is merely an addition. They both have a time and place. This is a little bit smaller offering. You need them both. I love my cover scat, and I think this is going to complement it well when you're on a heavy gravity bait bite. So check those out for sure. We are the only ones in the U.S. right now that have them. That is for sure. So if you Google AK Punch 2.8, you're only going to find them at waypointanglersupply.com.
He never, ever, guys, never gives me snacks. Never. He just eats snacks for himself. There's a king size thing of Reese's Cups back there, and I'm afraid to touch it because I don't want him to fire me.
I love a good Crunch Bar. No better candy. None.
None? I don't know. I've seen you eat Reese's Cups. All right.
What did you just take out of your pocket?
Oh, I got some sneaky stuff to show you guys how to rig a thing. Should I start with the littlest or go to the biggest first?
I think we should go smallest to largest.
All right. In terms of things I'm talking about, that means we're gonna start. Stop. Everything's falling apart.
Well, when you have too many cool baits, that becomes a problem of where do we fit all our cool baits. So.
Right.
That's a cool bait that nobody knows about.
I'm excited about these. I enjoy these. For those of you who don't know, this is the Devil Swimmer Shad full body paddle tail.
Signal.
This is from Signal. They are one of my favorite swim bait makers from overseas right now. Everything they make seems to be gold. They're like the Midas touch of swim baits.
Yes.
They have figured out how to create baits that have very wide ranges of retrieves.
Yes, I've seen it when you fish with them.
It's nice because a lot of the baits that are out there, you have to find the perfect retrieve. But I can burn this, not totally burn it. Like I can't buzz bait it as fast as I want across the water, but you can get up there in speed and you can slow it way down and you get action out of both.
The thing that amazed me when you were out there fishing with it, we have really clear water, so I can see your bait the whole time. It's like you were doing this with it. And that tail was whopping back and forth. So I was like, how can you reel it that slow and you still get that amount of tail? Crazy.
And that was with the regular swimmer, Devil Swimmer. What's crazy that you say that is, this is the type slow version. So I actually really like the type slow because you can get that lift with a really slow retrieve. This particular one. Guys will rig it with a belly weighted screw lock hook, like these ones from Gamatsu. Typical super line, 4 and 5/0. I prefer the 5/0 for this 5-inch one, and this is a 1/4 ounce here. I've got a couple other sizes. I like the Owner flashy swimmers as well, but being able to rig it fairly weedless. I don't even want to say semi, fairly weedless. And throw it through lily pads and weeds and crawl it around dock posts and stuff. This is a great bait for skipping docks too. So
I like the fin on the bottom too, that little stabilizer.
They got a stabilizing fin on the bottom, and we'll get a close up. And then there's one on the back here that keeps it from rolling too much as well. And then of course there's stabilizer fins on either side here. But
if you ever use the Devil Swimmer Shad on the back of a swim jig or anything of that caliber?
Back of the swim jig for sure. I like doing that. Throw it on a greenfish swim jig. I also like it on the Untamed Tackle Scout swim bait jig, which has no skirt, no weed guard, but same idea. You can go ahead and thread it through and rig it through the nose like you would a swim bait. These hooks are super, super good. Very sharp, very sticky. Ross is coming up with ideas here. He's over here hiding. What are you doing over there?
I just wanted to show off these colors are probably from Signal. Probably some of the best natural colors you can get in a swim bait brand. I mean, they've got your your looks of Tennessee shads and IUs and natural pro blues.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like pro blue pearl.
The colors on these things, not only do they perform via action, but the colors are just phenomenal.
Yeah, they're
really, really happy with how these are.
Dare I say second to none.
Yeah.
They're awesome. So, but that's not all that I got to talk about from Signal, and it's not the only Devil Swimmer that I've got to talk about. These are their harness style Devil Swimmers. We've got them in the dead slow version, which I believe is this guy. Or do I have it backwards? Which one of these is the dead slow? The black one, right?
I don't know if you have a dead slow.
One of these is the slow version. There is a slow. Oh, it's up there. Okay.
Black.
There's. These do not come in a dead slow. This is the 6-inch, which we'll talk about this discrepancy. Oh, you dropped it, Ross. I wish we had a camera on Ross right now because of what he just did.
Here's your dead slow.
This is why I was confused, because I was looking at black packaging and not seeing dead slow. Alright, so this is their 7-inch caliber bait in the dead slow. This is their 7-inch caliber bait in the standard retrieve.
Yeah.
This is their 6-inch caliber bait in a regular retrieve.
Why are you using air quotes?
Okay, so if I take out a tape measure, the 7-inch is about 6 1/4 inches.
Yep.
If you're fishing, like, for instance, the Throwback Baits Swim Bait Only tournament, or we had the Freezer Bass Off tournament this past weekend up at Monticello, this doesn't meet the minimum length requirement on their baits.
Yeah.
Even though it said it's a 6, it was a 5.
Yeah.
It just is. Can't do anything about it. They're still great baits. If there's no restrictions on what you're throwing, they're amazing. But you got to be careful, because you get into these situations where they're like, oh, this says 7-inch class. But if I take out that tape measure, like I said, it's 6 1/4, 6-inch bait.
Yep.
Still awesome. Still can chuck and wind them real slow for the slow retrieve. There was a YouTube video out last spring. I can't remember the creator. I'm going to have to look it up and find it. There's a creator out there who took every major harness swim bait on the market and did like varying retrieve rates to figure out what the slowest you could get action out of it and the fastest you could swim it without it burning or blowing out. This was his widest range, and not only was it the widest range, it started at the slowest speed and it kicked out at the highest speed. So it's got the biggest range and it covers all the retrieve speeds you want. That is why I like these swim baits so much. You were just talking about how you saw it in the water. That's where I already knew they were very good swim baits, had already fished them, had already caught a bunch of fish on them, but having that varying retrieve rate, even the dead slow, you can get it a little bit faster than maybe some other dead slow style baits out there. So I'm a fan. I will speak very highly of the Signal Devil Swimmers. I continue to do so. It's probably going to be my downfall because I keep telling everybody about them.
A lot of very original colors. There's that Dorado color.
Yeah.
There's a red. There's a nice black shad. There's a neon lime.
This one is like probably going to get overlooked here in the shop, but it's the one that I'm excited about.
There's a bubblegum one that looks real nice. I mean, I think now is the time to grab those when they're starting to spawn down south maybe and move shallow and start.
Now's the time to get those. Now's the time to get tickles and spro frogs. Now's the time to stock up on G-crack bells, gills. Now's the time to stock up on glide baits too, because we have a lot of them, and there's some good ones we just got in stock.
Yeah. Like
this new Laughing 170. I'm excited about.
Laugh, but it's not funny.
For real, dude. It's a Gamakatsu bait. Like I said, 170 millimeter. This thing, all right, I'm going to be straight with everybody here. I request we get these in. We have not had them yet. I have seen enough content on these to know that this is going to be one of the choppiest glides out there. Kind of like a Buka trick shad, kind of like a thinner, not longer, but maybe a little bit longer shad. It's a thinner body than the Glideway 176.
We texted it to one of our glide bait buddies here that buys a glide bait from us just about every day. Shout out Adam. And we said, these are in. He goes, oh, now there's a choppy glide bait.
Yeah.
Adam loves his choppy glide baits. So.
There's always a time and a place for more of an S-waver, S-style glide, but
guys are talking about these
the
ones.
choppy glides are the deal, dude. Being able to keep it in the strike zone longer, especially up shallow, on steep banks, on dock posts, on weed lines, being able to chop that thing, keep it where it's supposed to be. That is invaluable to a good glide baiter. So I'm excited about these. The video action on them is awesome. Out of the package, they look amazing.
And the Laugh-In 170 comes in at a price that I just about lost my mind when I heard what they're going for.
Yeah, but they're like they're not $100 or anything like that. They're less.
Lower.
They're like 50.
Lower. I think they're $44.99.
Ooh.
Right now at waypointanglersupply.com. The Gamakatsu.
My wallet's in back, but you can take my money after this.
You're gonna be laughing all the way to the bank when you realize what kind of a price you got away with on that thing.
So.
I mean, it looks so much more than $44.99, but I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I mean,
it's great.
There's a lot of baits that are this caliber and have action similar to this that charge a lot more money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, these will be in my boat.
I think
in the shop boat a
right
lot.
now,
we'll get some content
when
on
this is
summer.
airing live. I'm pretty sure somebody just bought one. Probably.
Good thing we got more coming.
Yeah. Willie was working on getting some more.
So
yeah.
I'm thrilled about these. I wish we would have been able to get our hands on them sooner because I've been waiting to fish them. Yeah. So, but I mean, go look them up on YouTube or wherever you find your content. I'm sure TikTok has a bunch of reels from the Japanese guys on them, but like, dude, there's a lot of hype around glide baits these days. These are some sneaky good ones.
Sneaky good.
Ooh. Did you never talk about these?
I haven't talked about that yet. I was looking. Oh, here it is. I was gonna rig one up for you to show you. Brand new arrival.
Ross messaged me the other day and he goes, "Hey, I got something new." And I'm like, "We get something new every day." And then he goes, No. You don't understand.
New, as in we have not had it before.
I got something new. So what is this thing?
It is the Hide Up Stagger Stick 5-inch. We've already posted about them. Already have sold through a bunch of them. Got more on the way. Essentially, what this is a flat-sided or flat-topped stick bait. Yeah, there's a lot of stick baits on the market. We all know what stick baits are good for, but this one sets itself apart by both the shape, the color offerings, and what this bait can do. Obviously, you can Nico weight this. It was actually designed to be a pretty effective on a weightless rig. EWG hook, you can work it like a fluke. This thing, whether you're going to throw it like a fluke, drop shot, weightless, it's got super erratic action, and I think that's because of the flat side, but it'll go, it has crazy darting action. When you're drop shotting it, it actually changes positions, so that could make it a pretty good...
It's got that airplane wing effect.
Yeah, really good bed fishing bait probably there. I'm going to definitely spend some time drop shotting this in the weeds.
Could you potentially do some...
Could I put it on a...
Rooney
I can put it on a
with it?
Gamakatsu Horizon head and mid-stroll with this. Now,
I was going to say that rounded bottom probably makes it really good.
That being said, it's not your typical Sakamata shad rolling bait. This is a different kind of mid-strolling where you're going to get crazy tail action. It's up and down, up and down. But you're also going to be able to get this bait to do some side-to-side, some really erratic action, and it was in fact designed at Hide Up to be a mid-strolling bait. And I think when fish see this one, I think this is going to set itself apart, especially on those lakes like where we are here on Lake Minnetonka, where all they see day in and day out is your typical rolling action baits, and they're
that and gill strolling baits. And that's
already bored of it.
Yeah, they are. It's amazing how they've just shied away from certain baits already.
So here's a stick bait that you can do the traditional stick bait applications, plus you can drop shot it, and you can go ahead and mid stroll it. Again, we've got this in a bunch of really nice colors. I am pretty partial to this IU color here. Nice little two-tone. So check out the Hide Up Stagger Stick. It's a great complement to all the other items we have here from Hide Up. And I'm going to take this one to Florida next week and throw for some saltwater fish too.
Do you have anything else hiding over here?
Hiding from Hide Up? Yes. Whoa.
I'm just kidding. It's not like I haven't seen a koiki before.
Everybody has seen a koiki at this point. In fact, I think we were one of the first ones to bring in the koiki or koike full cast, 17 millimeter and 13 millimeter. Full cast now, along with the 17 millimeter, is available in the United States. They started distributing it to Spro, which it's getting it in the hands of all anglers across the country at a much lower price. These were like 45, 50 bucks before. Now for the US offerings, they've brought that down to $18.49. So highly affordable now for the angler that wants to get into fishing koikis.
We've got Japanese ones though too.
With that being said, you still can't get some of the fine color offerings that are strictly
American.
You know, the ones that you have to go to Japan to get, and we've got those in stock and we keep them in stock. So for instance here, this is a koiki full cast in a color that is not available in a US offering. These Japan only colors, these are $24.99, so they're a little bit more, but great value if you want to get in on the koike craze and have a color that you cannot get or that nobody else has. So some rigging techniques for these baits. Full cast and 17 millimeter. We've tested these extensively. You've probably seen our pictures and our videos. I've been throwing that almost exclusively on the Zero Dan Worm 317 from Decoy, bottom dragging it, hopping it, letting it do a super hovery, slow fall, fish it deep, fish around boat docks, fish it wherever the heck I want, because they just engulf this thing. And that's both full cast and 17 millimeter.
What about this owner hook? Do you use this one?
No, I don't use an EWG.
Oh, this was for the AK Punch, wasn't it?
Yes.
This guy? Or this guy? Or possibly... Oh my gosh, there's not one here? No, stay here.
I'll get it.
I got it.
Yeah, we've got a bunch. Yep. Yeah, is there a specific... Yeah.
There it is. Show that to the camera.
Okay, yeah, we've got a wide selection there.
If you haven't checked out the Talisman, these are the Talisman Brutal HGs. We've got them in what, 1/0 all the way up to 4/0?
Yep, and more coming. We even have as small as number 2 and number 1 on the way, which is gaining popularity. This is the Talisman Brutal. I'm glad you selected the Brutal because it's got a little heavier wire hook. It's got the wire weed guard on there. When I'm throwing my koiki full cast and my koiki 17 millimeter, I like that heavier wire because I'm not throwing this on a spinning rod. I'm throwing it on a bait caster with 18-pound, like a Shimano Mastiff, something really tough.
Shimano Mastiff.
18 to 20 pound, depending if it's koiki full cast or a 17. Dragging it around on these decoy rigs, or you can throw it on the Ryogi Talisman Brutal. That works great for 17 and full cast sizes. I like a 4/0 for full cast. I like a 2/0 or 3/0 for 17 millimeter. That being said, There's also a Koike 13 millimeter, and that you can drop shot it, you can short leader drop shot it, you can put a Nico weight in it, like a little micro Ryugi one, or you can do
however you want to pronounce it. There's always a debate about how we say it.
The slightly less powerful decoy. This is the Worm 217. It's got a light wire EWG, typically in a number 2 to like a 1 aught or 2 aught that's available in, and they're not as heavy. This is they're going to be 16th through 3/16 ounce. So then I can drag this with a spinning rod. I can also, like I said, drop shot and short leader drop shot these.
Softer bait caster.
Yeah,
7
softer
foot
bait
medium,
caster would be good, yeah.
Medium heavy with some lighter fluoro.
This actually is exclusive. You cannot get these anywhere else at the moment.
They're not available outside of Japan or Waypoint Angler Supply.
13 millimeter we've been shipping these to some of the Elite Series professionals.
Yes, we have.
I'm not going to say who, but they've been definitely having great success. Special order these in some certain colors for guys all the time. They are available. We have another big shipment of the 13 millimeter on the way. I think if you're a Midwest guy, particularly, I think this is a size you're going to want to check out for both largemouth and smallmouth. Again, when we talk about like, I don't want to throw a dice as big as a 26 millimeter because some guys are just like that. This is a more manageable, typical Koike size that isn't going to scare a lot of the anglers off.
I don't understand that logic, but go ahead.
But it's okay because you know what?
We got options.
If you want to throw a Koike, you have 3 really fantastic options. We even have some suplexes left as well. If you really want to go big and have the baits nobody else has, we've even got some options for suplex still.
Suplex? What the heck's a suplex, Ross?
The big dog. That's even bigger than full cast. Again, you can't find him anywhere but here.
Honestly, I wasn't interested in the Koikes until these walked in, and now...
Yeah. Carolina rig that sucker.
Now Eric wants to do the Koike.
Yeah. So, I do believe you're going to have the most success with whatever variation of Koike you want on a decoy worm 217, decoy worm 317, or go ahead and pick up some Talisman or Talisman Brutal, and you're going to be set up for ultimate success using Koike products. We also have a Koike rigging kit, which includes 2 Koikes, all the terminal tackle that we've talked about here, some Nico weights, and a Tonka tote bag. That's our exclusive 11x9x3 tote bag that fits all kinds of great products from G-Crack. It fits the Koike boxes, which are pretty big, and you get all the tackle you need to rig it up and have success. There's even some Carolina rigging stuff in there.
It's all in here.
And it's a great value. It's like a $95 value. We sell them for $80, so you get a good value. Everything you need is in there, ready to go. We ship them all day long, all over the country. I have one more bait that I didn't want to talk about, but I have to. Are you okay if I talk about this?
I don't know. I don't know if we should be sharing this kind of stuff.
I'm gonna rip it open.
Oh
Ready
God.
to break your revoltage virginity with me? And release.
That was kind of weird.
Willie just brought me a secret surprise too. Have you seen that yet since it came in at all? That's a Jackal Revoltage RV Bug. That's the 3-inch.
Dude, this is like a big Issei Danny. It is. You just take these little things off and you got an Issei Danny.
We've also got them in the 1.5-inch, which has already proven itself as an ice fishing and crappie killer. This has been here for a while, but we just brought in the Revoltage 3-inch, and I want to pick one apart just so the people can see. Wilfred told me that there's an Elite Series professional who won a tournament using this bait. Just saying.
I have guesses which one it might be.
So they're made.
He may or may not be sponsored by the brand that makes these. Huh, Willie?
They're packed full of shrimp scent. I love that. I love shrimp scent on my stuff. And what you're supposed to do is go ahead and pick off this extra plastic here. Get rid of that. That keeps it nice in the box so that when you pull one out, you're ready to go and nothing's kinked. And you've got yourself just your typical shrimp bait, just like any other shrimp bait, crab bait on the market, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Well, you see what happened was.
Wrong. Don't ever say that again. You're wrong.
I didn't say it.
This bait sets itself apart by being a finesse gravity bait. You're supposed to throw this weightless.
Wait, that's not a jig trailer?
It can be a jig trailer. It can be a Ned rig. It can be a Texas rig bait. Absolutely.
So you just take like one of these 1/0.
Take your 1/0 owner.
5108 owner hooks.
Take your 1/0 Ichikawa. Take your 1/0 owner. Take your 1/0 EWG hook.
Take my Loomis 7'1" medium action,
Yep.
852.
It's a gravity bait with multiple appendages. It's gonna sink.
Twin power, just fire that
At
sucker out there.
It's gonna sink at an enticing fall rate. We've already thrown this thing in the tank, and it's incredible. Combined with these kicking legs and all these appendages, you can bite all. If you want more of a finesse application or a little more subtle, you can bite all those appendages off, and you've got a crawfish bait that would go good on a Ned rig. It'll still sink weightless. I recommend you throw it as is.
As per usual, you've left me with more ideas
than
I began with, and this is no exception.
I think this is going to crush some smallmouth and some early spring largemouth.
Free rig?
Free rig would be, yeah, it'd be deadly on a free rig. It's packed with scent.
I just had like a brain moment where I just thought of all the places I could throw this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think this pack is gonna go with me.
Yeah.
So
It's available in a bunch of great colors, from green pumpkin blue to dark green pumpkin to everything in between. So now that we've talked about the Jackal RV Bug 3-inch, and probably will be sold out by the end of the day, that people know about that and all its crazy appendages. We also, it looks like they caught on to the Signal Devil Swimmer harness swim baits, because somebody just bought a couple of those online.
yeah, I literally just printed an order while we had somebody come in to pick up their real cleaning stuff. So
the secrets are out. We've got a crazy amount of good stuff coming in every day. You never know.
Before, now you know.
We can always get whatever you need. We'll get it for you.
Yeah, come in, ask us about product, ask us about the stuff we got, ask us about stuff we don't have. We can order stuff. There's an, I don't want to say there's a wealth of Japanese tackle abound, but we got the right connections. We make a excuse me. I'll have to beat it. I wasn't even trying to swear.
We don't got it, we can get it.
I meant to say we can make a phone call, and then I cut myself off and ended up cussing like a bad person.
Anything from Dika Mushiba to AK Punch to the new Jackal Revoltage 3-inch and everything in between. We've got Emo Kamushi Q-Bomb rigging kits from
Come
Keith
ask
back
me
in
about
stock.
the Devil Swimmer.
Devil Swimmers are back in stock. Bellows rigging kits are back in stock. We've got a new section online now called rigging kits as well. So if you like all the necessary items to rig items you know how to rig up, you can do that now.
Come ask me about glide baits and swim baits.
Everything.
Ask me about the Laughing 170. Ask me about glide bait 176s, which it sounds like we might finally get a restock of those soon.
Yep.
Come ask me about Chad Chads and Buka baits, and we got some other sneaky swim baits I didn't even talk about today that just came in. I'm looking at one right now, and it might come home with me. So, yeah, we've got the goods. We always got the goods. If we don't have the goods, we'll get you the goods. If you're wondering about what kind of goods we got, go to waypointanglersupply.com or check us out on social media or keep an eye on our YouTube. And, yeah, we're gonna keep it stocked, keep it up.
These are mine.
And Ross is gonna commandeer some product. And so am I.
Get your AK Punch and your Voltage Bug at waypointanglersupply.com before he goes and does it himself.